She Is Serious, a podcast where we showcase female athletes and their impact beyond the game. Each week, we will be bringing on influential women in the world of sports and showing why they are so much more than athletes. My name is Taylor Hall. I'm a health and fitness influencer and collegiate athlete at Biola University. And this is my sis, my co-host, Ashley White. What's up, girl?
Hey, y'all. Hey, my name is Ashley White, a former student athlete manager for UNCW's women's basketball, a blogger, writer for Beautiful Ballers, and an advocate for women in sports. Thank you for tuning in weekly to She Is Serious podcast. And this is why female athletes are now to be taken seriously. Hey, sis.
Hey sis, welcome back to another episode of She Is Serious. We are super duper excited today to have on special guests LaTonia and her daughter Bree. What's up, girls? How are you guys doing today?
Hey ladies, we're doing well.
Great, how are you?
Blessed and highly favored.
Blessed over stress. Blessed over stress. We're excited to be here with you guys to have this conversation today.
So we got to get started right now. Miss LaTonia and Bree, we have to ask you, what is y'all sports story and how did it kind of trends into from mother to daughter of your sports story?
Oh wow. Well, I've been playing. I started playing basketball when I was 9 years old. To make a long story short, I just played when I was 9. Of course, played in middle school, high school, played AAU all throughout. Got a scholarship, played at UNCW, got a scholarship there, played there all 4 years. Then right after, did not continue playing, which was fine. And 2 kids later, both of our kids play basketball, and Bree plays now. She's 15 years old. She's a freshman in high school. So we just, my husband and I just tried to give her some of the tools that we had growing up, the experiences we've had, the disciplines we've had, just the whole basketball experience in life. She wanted to play. Has expressed to her that she loves it, and we just try to give her the tools to be successful with what we know and what we had growing up.
That's so awesome. That really helps to have a role model like you, LaTonia, as a mom that has gone through it and is able to teach your daughter. So that's really cool to have a basketball family. How was it growing up, and what was your decision like, going to UNCW? What made that your college to go to?
I think the area, when I came to visit, I love the area. One thing that was important to me in playing, I wanted to make sure I played in a coliseum or a coliseum-like gym. And Trask Coliseum I really liked it when I came to visit. Really enjoyed meeting the players and the coaches, and it just felt like home, and it wasn't too far from home. I'm from Virginia, so it wasn't too far. And it felt like a good fit. So that's why I came here.
Okay.
And I wanted to contribute right away, too. So that was important to me also.
So with school being important as well for, as a student athlete, as you were, LaTonia, how do you take those tools that you have had over the years and help your children and Bree and your son kind of make sure that they take those lessons and apply it to say the college that they want to go to?
Again, we go back to discipline. Just being disciplined, time management, and just making sure that they stay on top of things, especially school. Definitely, of course, the basketball, they have to continue to work on their craft every day. Maybe not every day, but a lot of times, like if it's 7 days out of the week, at least 4 out of those 7 days, they, work on their craft. But the main thing in our household was the classroom. We stress that, and doing well and being a great student in the classroom is big for us because that takes you even further than sportswear. And you don't ever want that to be a hindrance of the reason why you can't get on the court or the reason why you can't play or anything like that, because it's very important when it comes to athletics.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was just going to say that it's important because what we're all about here on She Is Serious is we're more than athletes. So, stressing that it's taken care of in the classroom first, that'll take you beyond basketball, because basketball only lasts you a certain amount of time in life. And so it's really important to have that education and skills outside of the court too, even though, you seem so wrapped up in it right now. There's something after basketball. So, Bree, what are some of the most important lessons you think you've learned thus far in your basketball career, just growing up and being around your mom?
Definitely, like she said, discipline and the stress that how much they stress me and my brother being very good students in the classroom and being respectful to adults and teachers and all of that. And I think those have been very important to us, and it's definitely stuck with us, and I think we do a pretty good job of that. But with basketball, definitely discipline, just making sure I'm being coachable and making sure I'm working on my craft and just being always open to learn, because I don't know everything and I'm never going to, but I'm always willing to learn and get better because I have goals to go to play at the next level. So I know that I have to be coachable and ready to learn.
Such a good outlook.
So, Bree, do you see yourself maybe say playing for your mother's alma mater at UNCW, or is there say a dream school, a list of schools that you kind of focused on that you're like, man, I want to go there, I wish to go there? What would you say?
I'm definitely not ruling UNCW out. I'm keeping my options open because in my junior and senior year, you never know what could happen. But I definitely have some schools that I've been keeping in mind since I was young. So those are definitely my dream schools. UConn was always at the top of the list. So I'm definitely reaching and working to get there.
And LaTonia, how would you say the game and social media has changed from when you were playing to now, to the generation that Bree is in?
Oh wow, it changed a lot. We had no social media at all when I played. I was at UNCW from '96 to 2000, and there was no social media. I see it's good and it's bad. It's good because it allows coaches, college coaches, other players. It allows everybody to see each other players, and just to be able to watch and maybe expand your game based on what you see other people are doing. That's not always a bad thing because you can learn from other people. It also allows coaches to go on your pages and see what you're doing and keep up with you and maybe watch video and things like that. But it's also, to me, the negative about that is the comparison that people get into. I try to, stress to at least Bree at times that I think it's important that, you continue to focus on what you're doing, and that, we just make sure we don't get into what everybody else is doing all the time, because sometimes you can lose focus that way. And just use it as a tool to help you get better, but not really focus on what other people are doing, meaning that you can still stay on your own path, so that you can stay focused and get better at your skill and your particular way of playing. But I think social media it's great for this era because it just reaches so many people, so many coaches, and it allows some of the players to actually get to know each other and they can actually become friends and talk, and they see each other at camps, and it's just so much that social media can do to bring the players together. And that's just my opinion of it.
Yeah, definitely to follow that up. My dad and my mom have always stressed to me how important what I post on social media is, and making sure that I'm careful with what I post. And that's definitely been another thing that they stressed to me. But yeah, I think it's been very helpful as far as college recruitment, and definitely the girls that I met at camp and just playing on the road and stuff, keeping in contact with them a little bit, because a lot of them that I met they definitely don't live in Wilmington, let alone North Carolina. So it's been very helpful for that. But yeah, overall it can be a positive and a negative, but so far it's been a big positive for me.
You see what, LaTonia, you pointed out how the negative part is like the comparison and stuff. Sometimes the comparison can get in the way of like the positive as well. How important would you say mental health is when it comes to sports?
Oh, wow. You want to answer first, or you want me to?
I can answer first.
Yeah.
It's very important. Like I've definitely had my times where I struggled with it a little bit, just missing out, feeling like I'm missing out on things, like missing out on like state parties or being able to hang out with friends because during the summer because I'm on the road. I definitely struggled with that a little bit, but I mean, I think it's very important because as a student athlete, you've obviously got to stay on top of your grades and you can't play. So that can be very draining. Like you're going to school all day and then you're going to practice or maybe you're going and you're getting home very late, having to do homework and all that stuff. You can definitely get very mentally drained. But yeah, it's very important that having people around you who can help keep you leveled, and having people you can talk to has been great for me. I definitely have that, and very, very important.
Oh yeah, and for me, we try to really monitor her with that, because that is something that is big nowadays. And we give her breaks. We recognize a lot of times when we talk to her about it, if she needs a break, a day or two, or, we try to do things outside of that's beyond basketball, like go to the movies. She hangs out with her friends when she gets a chance, and we just try to do things outside of just so that, she can get that mental break. And I think it also helps her that she plays other sports. I saw that was great for her, for a mental break for her when she started playing volleyball and running track. That's been great for her, so she can sort of get a mental break at that time.
To add off of the mental health, what you guys were saying, and just doing things outside of your sport is so important. And I think that's really cool, LaTonia, that you were able to go through basketball in your life, and I'm sure that's something that you learned, that you can't put all of your eggs in one basket and just focus on basketball, because that really does take a mental toll on you. I know that I went through that growing up. I just played basketball all the time.
Yeah.
And I really lost myself in it, and I didn't know my identity outside of the sport. So that's really cool that you are teaching Bree from a young age that there's so much more to life and that you can have fun, you can spend time with friends and do these things outside of basketball, but still obviously, go out there and hoop when it's time to do so. Exactly. I think that's really, really important. Bree, what's one of your favorite hobbies outside of the basketball court?
I like to sing, read, watch TV, definitely hang out with family, my brother, my mom, my dad, my friends, and volleyball has definitely been a very big hobby for me since I started playing last year. That's been a lot of fun. So.
You only kid in one lifetime, so you gotta be able to enjoy yourself,
Yeah.
So LaTonia, when you were growing up, did you play other sports outside of basketball, or were you ultra focused on basketball, and did you have your goals set from a young age, or what was that like growing up?
Yes, so I did. I had my goals set from a young age. I only played basketball. I'm sorry. I played volleyball in middle school, and with the high school I went to that I transferred to did not have volleyball. So it was basically basketball all the time. The difference is back then there wasn't trainers like they have now. So we just literally played all day. We played pickup all day with the boys. Just my sister and I. My dad would go out there with us sometimes. We just played all the time. There was a lot of playing. So yeah, it was 100% basketball. It was a lot of it, but I loved it. I loved it. I would just in my free time just say, hey, I'm just gonna go to the basketball court and see if people are down there so I could play. So
Yeah. And I know my dad said the same thing. My dad said the same thing growing up. It was just, they would just go out there and hoop. Like, there was no trainers. And I don't know, what do you think about that nowadays? Is it to an extent where it's unhealthy, where it's just training, and then not as much playing? Because I think playing, obviously, that brings the joy and the life to the game. Like, we all want to play. But with the training and practices and games, I feel like that's where it gets to the point it's too much.
I think there's a balance in it all because you still need to keep your skill set sharp, but you need to have a place to put that skill set and to work on those skills, which is playing. So,
Right.
and I think it's important because as you get older, you don't have as much time for training. I don't knock training at all. Actually, I wish that we had some of that when I was growing up because I will say the kids nowadays are way more skilled than we were back then.
Yes.
Way more skilled. So in that aspect, the training is great, but I think there should be a balance because you have to play. That's how you get to know the game. That's how you learn how to make good decisions in the game. And you just have to play. So it cannot be all about training. It has to be a balance.
Did you have like a, say, when you were playing a sport, and this could be both sport and life, did you have like, and a question to both of y'all, did you guys have like, say, a person that you wanted to emulate your skill as, like whether it's a hooper or somebody that kind of like made an impact in your life?
Oh, wow. You want to answer that?
I mean, I don't have like one person who I guess you could say like I kind of modeled my game after. I think I have definitely multiple types of people's games like within mine because I mean I'm a point guard, I'm not very big, but I mean I definitely work on my ball handling a lot and stuff like that. So I definitely try to look at my finishing. And I definitely try to look at Kyrie and Damian Lillard and stuff and people like that for things like that. But I also work on my jumper a lot because I'm a pretty good shooter. So looking at like Steph Curry's mechanics and stuff like that because obviously he's the greatest shooter ever. So looking at maybe some of his shooting drills or even just like his mechanics is I think has been helpful. So I guess you can kind of say that for me.
Me, I didn't really, I had a favorite player growing up, but I'm not sure how much. I mean, I played mostly shooting guard, but I did play some point guard. But surprisingly to some people, Magic Johnson was probably my favorite player, just because the way he saw the floor. And I tried to play in that way where I could see the floor, whether I was playing point guard or shooting guard. I was a good passer also. So he was really influential in what I tried to do. But other than that, I just loved watching the game and just watching great players. Like I studied the game itself, not necessarily one player. I thought that was most important when I was growing up. So.
That's cool. Bri, I'm sure your mom has taught you some, point guard skills, maybe some behind the back, no lookers, Magic Johnson style, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, LaTonia, what have you seen in the girls' game, and how much has it grown since you've played?
Wow. Again, the girls are so much more skilled now. It's unbelievable. And I mean, I tell Bree all the time, she's way more skilled than I was. I was very fundamental. I was a good player also, but when I played, the girls weren't as skilled as they are now. Like, they were great players now. I mean, because we were mentally tough. We were just hard nosed, tough players. But again, I think the difference still is the skill set in these girls now. It's crazy. And the girls are their size. A lot of them are much bigger nowadays too. So, but just overall, I mean, it's all sizes of women's basketball players right now, and then just the skill set overall of all the ladies it's unbelievable right now. And I would have never thought when I was playing then that that's what it would be evolved to now. And I'm glad that she's a part of that. I'm really glad she's a part of that
Right.
because it's amazing to see. It really is.
Even down to the bigs. I don't know how, like, looking at some of the best bigs and like that I've seen and played against or even played with. A lot of them now, the best ones have guard skills as well. They don't always just have to post up. Like, they'll branch out to the three every once in a while and shoot a three. Like Leah Boston, like her footwork is phenomenal, but you also can't leave her open on the three. And if she really needs to, she can dribble down the court until she finds the guard. So I feel like bigs now are definitely probably more skilled than the bigs were when you played, especially and maybe as far as the guard skills that some of them have kind of adapted as well. So,
What excites you most, Bree, about being a part of this generation and looking up to these girls that are a couple, 2 or 3 years older than you that are just changing the game?
honestly, I love to see it, and I feel like as I'm getting older and going to college in the next couple of years, I really just want to make sure that women are getting their credit because I feel like still we don't get enough credit. Like, we have March Madness on the TV right now, and I'm just the level that is and the pace that these girls are playing at is it's crazy to me. It's been very entertaining. I mean, they're great. They're in incredible shape. They make crazy shots. Like, and I mean, they're playing against the best of the best. They're playing against the best of the best. So I've loved watching it all, and now I'm up next. So I mean, I know there's women
Hey.
who are also looking up to me, but I'm looking up to some of the girls that I've played with, and even some of the girls who were in the North Carolina area who I've met who are now in college. So I'm really excited for the future. I'm excited about what's going on now. So
What would you say is one brand or a couple brands that you hope maybe whether it's, high school, because now they're signing high schoolers now to NIL brands, whether in high school or
So
college,
sick.
is there like a brand that you kind of like want to be sponsored by or endorsed?
I actually haven't really thought about that, but I mean, obviously Nike would be great. I only really play in Nikes. I'm actually about to have to start branching out with my new team, but I mean, any of the top name brand shoes or even like Gatorade or Powerade or something like that, but even some of the smaller brands as well. So I'm open to anything. I'm really glad that NIL has become a thing and that athletes are now allowed to make money from their name. I think that's huge, and I'm really really excited about that.
It's really cool, really big.
Yeah.
LaTonia, what do you think about the NIL? When you first saw that pass, what was your reaction?
Um, I didn't have one actually. Because I mean, I think my mind had to like move to like what was really, really happening. Because again, when I played, that was not even a thought. So,
Yeah.
I think it's great. I think it's great because, there are a lot of athletes that, in their life, they don't have the resources that some other athletes have. And I think that is big for those athletes, because they can take care of themselves. They can make money. They can help take care of their families, whatever they need to do. That's the first thing that comes to mind for me. But I also think that it's great for athletes, just athletes as a whole while they're in college, to be able to save money and even just to have the freedom to do just do things that will help them even with their mental health if they want to do other things outside of their sport that they're on scholarship with. I think that'll help with that too. So it's so many things that it could help with, but those are the first things that come to mind.
Yeah, of course. Going back to women and their evolution since you started playing, LaTonia, what do you think that we have made strides in the media, and how do you think we can continue to bring male and female supporters to the world of women's sports, not just women's basketball, but just women's sports in general?
Wow. I think that the women's sports in the media, it is really growing. It's growing, and I think the big part of that are coaches like Dawn Staley that really, really stick their everything out there for these women's sports. I think that the women in sports have become a lot more confident. They speak more with their heads up when they're on film. I think, I just think the whole confidence of the women's world is growing. I think that's important. I think we need to stay on the right path, continue to push the way we are pushing, and that will help continue to bring people into women's sports. I do think there are some that still, that for some reason don't view women's sports still at the top of the list. But I think if we keep pushing the way we have, then I think that it will help bring them in. I just think we need to keep going because every year it gets better and better. And a lot of these coaches are getting more involved and they're on social media and they're pushing our women and their voices. They're using their voices. And I think that's the biggest part of increasing the support for women's sports. It's the voices that they're using their voices, and nobody's going to stop them. And I'm so proud for that, and I'm proud for Bree because she's coming in an era where it's going to be a lot of support, a whole lot of support.
And I can already see it in you, Bree. You're a very confident young woman. The way that you speak and carry yourself at 15 years old, I can't believe you're 15, and it's really cool. Yeah, like that's big time.
Thank you.
Like, what is one thing about you that you hope that will, inspire others to do?
Oh, I want to inspire other girls to be able to use their voice. I feel like all throughout history, women have just been slighted, and especially women of color. So I feel like that's been very important, and just being an overall good role model, like in the classroom and on social media, on the court, and just overall being a good person. I really want to inspire people to be kind to other people and just to overall be good people and to work hard and to just treat everybody equally, because you're not going to like everybody, but I just feel like people should be kind to each other and just stop fighting for no reason and just being negative for no reason. I just overall want people to use their voice and be kind to each other.
I love it.
It sounds like, what you explained is definitely representation that you hope to see more in not just only women of representation, but women of color of representation, because now you see a lot of women of color representation in more head coaching jobs and, in sports media, such as, Maria Taylor. And then, like you mentioned, LaTonia, Dawn Staley using her platform to, do more things than just being a coach. Do you see that increasing? Yes, Candace Parker. Do you see that as increasing as years goes on?
Oh yeah, you talking to me or either
Both of
one?
y'all, both of you guys.
Definitely, because again, I think Dawn Staley she's already. I mean, she's set the stage. So there are so many women of color, like you said, in coaching now that really look up to her, and she's pulling them along, and you can see that they're all using their voices. They're all supporting her. She's supporting them. All of the support, all the way across the board for the women of color that are coaching, and just women coaches all across the board. I think all of that has really, oh man, it just has really grown, and you could just see the strength in it and how it is strengthening the women's sports. And it's just awesome to see. And I pray that, and we express to Bree all the time, and especially my husband, actually, for Bree to use her voice. And we expressed that to her a lot, and she's had to use her voice. And each time you use your voice, you get better at it, and you get more confident. And we think that's important for her, because when you become an adult, you have to be able to speak, and people, just you walk with a confidence so that you can have respect. And respect is not in just using your voice, it's how you carry yourself too. So that's very important, and we've always expressed that to Bree, like she said earlier. And we're just excited about where it's going and where our pioneers are leading us.
Yes, and that's so exciting too, as a mom, to have these role models for your daughter. It's just really a cool thing that we're a part of right now. So I'm really excited for you, Bree, LaTonia, for you to just witness this and instill in your daughter this confidence. This connection right here is really cool. It's just like, it's awesome. It's awesome to see that. Where do you guys picture yourself, both you, Bree, and both you and LaTonia, where do you guys see yourself 5 years from now?
Definitely, I would love to see myself in a college jersey to begin with. Hopefully by then I would like to have an NIL by then. We're definitely still having a good relationship with my parents for sure, and staying on top of my grades like I am now. I think overall that would be it. I think 5 years I'll be college freshman and sophomore.
Yeah.
So I'll be fresh in the college. So I think for me that's where I'm thinking right now, and to hopefully I've inspired some younger girls by then, and to have inspired some people by then.
Yep. Yeah. And me, 5 years, we'll be traveling to their games, and to with our son, still traveling with him, because he's in college right now playing sports also. So it takes up a lot of our time, which we don't mind. It's all worth it. So in 5
Where
years,
does he play at?
he's at Presbyterian College. He plays football there.
That's in South Carolina.
Yes. Yeah. So in 5 years, we hope to still be traveling and just sitting back and watching them live their dreams.
So
That's so awesome.
I noticed you mentioned about traveling a lot, because that, you travel with, for, family with sports and stuff. How do you balance, being a motherhood and, with the travels, with, family time, motherhood, and, with both your kids being in sports?
Well, I can say we don't think about it, because when you think about it, it's overwhelming. We just do it. We just do it. I just thank God that me and my husband, we do it together. Because, I just think that helps. It's a lot of traveling. I don't know. We just know that certain times of the year is heavier than others. So when it's not as heavy, that's when we try to kind of let our hair down a little bit, do other things. But when we know it's a certain time of the year, we already know it's all work. That's just what it is, because that's just a part of it. So I think we all know that now. By now, we've been doing it for a while. We just get it done. We don't think about it. We get it done. Then afterwards, we take a week or so off, get back to, gradually building up to things again. But in between, we just do things as a family. We still do things outside of it. We go to the movies, we go shopping, we do different things. So it's just that certain times of the year is just really heavy. It's really heavy. So and we just know it, we expect it, we get it done, and then we kind of move on from there. Because it's just
I don't know how you guys do it. I do not know how you guys do it as parents, because I know I gave my parents crap a lot of the times, but you guys do so much for us. And especially being a mom who played in the past, that's also, what is your experience like? Do you try to keep your mouth shut sometimes and be like, oh, like, Bree, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Or are you just more of you just tell her how it is?
Both. She's both. Sometimes I do. I do keep my mouth shut because sometimes I think she needs that mental moment herself to kind of get things together. Because then, if a lot of times with your kids, if you have to tell them every little step constantly, you're not giving them room to think themselves through it. So a lot of times, it's both, some of both, because they're still kids, they're still young, they still need to hear things that they don't want to hear. So I think it's up to us as parents to be honest with them and say those things, but still love them, still care about them, still support them, and do our part. And we've always expressed to them that this is a team effort. We'll do our part, you need to do your part. So if we're doing our part, they 100%, they need to do their part 100%, and it's going to work just fine. And that's just kind of where we come from.
Yeah. Bree, who's harder riding? What car ride is harder on the way home from games? Your mom or your dad?
Dad.
Dad?
No doubt about it. Yeah.
That's how it was for me too, girl. The dad car rides home from AAU games, oh man.
Yeah. And see, that's why it's good, because we balance each other out. And there are times when I may be hard on her, and then he's the balance, So
yeah.
I just think but they gotta know, and especially as they mature, that where it comes from. It comes from a good place,
Oh yes.
and that we just want them to be their best, at all times. And we have to remind them, and especially in today's era, there's just so much going on that they have so much in their minds, So just trying to keep them focused nowadays, that's probably the biggest challenge, I would say, and I'm sure other parents would say that. But overall, I just think we have great kids. Bree is doing a great job. I know she gets tired sometimes, and we ask her, how she's feeling and stuff, but she's doing a great job, and we're proud of her. Very proud of her.
So what would you say, if somebody asked you to both LaTonia and Bree, what makes you more than an athlete? What would you say?
Well, for me, I'll go ahead and say it. So I am a salon owner, and I went to hair school when I was in high school. So I was doing that while I was playing basketball, and my main goal was to have my own salon, be licensed before I went to college. And I did all of that. And I wanted to use my business degree that I did acquire at UNCW to help me build my business. And I did all of that. I'm very proud of that. And that's part of the discipline that we try to instill in our kids, is that when you have a goal and it's something that you're passionate about, you got to see it through, whether that's on the court or off the court. And that's part of what we try to instill in our kids. So I think that's what made me more than an athlete, because I am a businesswoman, and I was able to build my business, and I love what I do. I love basketball, but I also love being a cosmetologist. So that's very important to me.
To follow that, I'm not doing all of that in high school. I kind of wish I had the opportunity to get into cosmetology because that is actually something I've been very interested in from a young age. Yeah, because of her. But I mean, like I said, like she said, I mean, I do other sports. I mean, I do a lot, and I try to make sure that I am still very focused on basketball, but that I am focused on making sure that my friends are okay, that my family is okay, like not only being focused on me because I know sometimes that you can get very focused on what's going on in my life, but I definitely like to make sure that everybody around me is doing okay as well. And just staying focused in school and just being there for people when they need it because that would be something that I would want somebody else to do for me. So as of right now, I think that's what makes me a really athlete, just being an overall good person and trying to inspire other people and using my voice to do that.
Very good answers, both of you. Very cool. And that's probably nice to have your mom be able to do your hair and everything, huh?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I wish my mom knew how to do hair. Like, sorry, Mom, to put you on the spot, but I just look at pictures when I was younger, and she's like, I'm sorry, Taylor, but the only thing I knew how to do for you was like the little alfalfa kind of hair, so my hair was always So I'm sure it was nice to have a mom who knew how to like style and do all that. So that's really cool. Well, your guys' stories are amazing. It's so cool to see, LaTonia, how you are raising such a strong, confident young woman. And Bree, you're going to do so many amazing things. I can't wait to see where you are in 5 years. You're going to be hooping at UConn. I can see it. Like, the way that you carry yourself is truly amazing. And I'm just so glad that you guys were able to come on today and share your stories with us.
Thank you for having us.
It was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yes, thank you guys so much. And don't forget to tune in every Tuesday. We will have new episodes dropping for you. And we will be bringing on special guests like LaTonia and her daughter Bree. So don't forget Spotify, Apple Podcasts, subscribe, like, and we'll see you next time, baby. We are serious.
Thank you.
Hello.